Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got quite a balanced rack. But do I have a bingo? Not sure I do. Great start for opponent, 52 points. I'm considering the floaters, but I suspect it's only the consonants which hold out any hope of a bingo. Not seeing anything with the W. How about the Z? Well, not seeing anything there either. Iodized takes D, R and S at the end. I have none. I don't have a double-double in column 11. So how to score? I don't have any tiles which can go underneath the I. Well, what I could do is just EW. This rack leaves slightly vowel heavy, but apart from that it's quite nice. And the score of 29 points is good. And I'm interrupting the double-double lane. Great, I draw two consonants, so I do now have a balanced rack. And it looks like opponent had an unbalanced one, playing off just 3 vowels for just 17 points. I still don't have D, R or S. I've got the A, B, L, E ending with HIN. That doesn't really help. Do I have anything down onto the D of iodize? And I'm looking for a bingo. I can see I've got inhaled, but that wrecks the rack and doesn't score very much. So I'm not seeing anything. I've got the head component part of a word. So how about scoring? And I've got a couple of good scoring tiles in the B and the H. So what I can do is bar for 28, which is pretty good, and the rack leave is okay. Now Zia takes an L, so why don't I change this? Well, I was going to say B-E-H-L, but it's B-H-E-L. So I'm not sure I can get H and L together. And nothing else goes under Zia, so I'm going back to plan A, bar for 28. Well, close to a bingo. I'm sure there are some 8s here. And I do now have an R for iodizer. That's been taken out. So, do my opponent's hooks, floaters rather, assist? I have eyeliner through an E, no E's available. So what about the S? Sneerily is not good. I think I've contemplated playing that before, and it isn't good. And I don't think it has an anagram. How about the R? That doesn't look particularly useful. So, I'm looking to play off the Y. I trail by about a bingo. I could play YE in this spot for 24 points, keeping quite a good 5-letter set, but not a monster. And I think I'll do that. It doesn't inhibit the S hugely. Quite a lot of tiles go after YE, and I'm keeping open the bingo lane in row G and the floaters of iodizers. I think the alternative play would have been something like YE above the O of iodizers. So I'm going with this. Great, this looks pretty promising. I have relines, which does play in rows G and I, and also in row L. Wow, fantastic bingo for my opponent. 104 points, he's now taken a huge lead. And I'm really going to struggle to catch him. UH doesn't take anything after it. So I think this is the best spot. Lianes is the anagram of relines, but I'm not sure there's terribly much between those. Lianis may slightly have the edge in terms of vowels next to premium squares. Lianis for 73. Pretty good, and that looks close to a bingo. I'm just wondering about unsaddle. I think that's good. In which case it plays here. The opponent has taken out the row B spot, which would have led to it being doubled. So unsaddle for 66. And I now trail by 40. Great score for opponent, 42. So he's back to a bingo's lead. I don't have a bingo, but I have good scoring tiles, so I'm still in the game. Still a blank and an S out there, and 39 tiles to come. So what can I do with K, P, or H? And none of those tiles goes in front of the U of unsaddle, which is a shame. What about a play in column 14? I have perk, which would score quite well. It would retain duplicate I, which is slightly problematic. However, I don't have any vowels and there are only 2 I's to come. Let me see what this scores. That's 36, which is a good score. 14 minutes on my clock. Do I have a play with the K in front of the O? EW can take a T after it as well as a K of the tiles on my rack. Not seeing anything, so I've got perk, which is quite good. Nothing goes in front of Joe or Gee, so I can't get anything that goes in front of E of it to score twice. Do I have a play in row H ending on the A? Well, there could be a play there, but I'm not seeing it. Anywhere else, that's great. Don't think so. So, perk for 36. Slightly vowel heavy, but I have the scoring tile in the H. I don't think there's a bingo here, although it looks close. So, floating C, floating L, does either assist? I trail by 70. 12 minutes on my clock, so plenty of time. Not seeing anything through the C, close to A historic. What about the L? Not feeling good about that, not seeing anything. So how to sort the rack out? Well, playing off the I, certainly, and possibly the O. And I'm looking at this C. I'm just thinking about playing down here. But that's not going to create a fork because there are only 6 tiles between Crumb and Leanne, so I'd just be creating a new lane in row C. So what about playing I-O somewhere? I could play Oi over Ob, but I'm slightly concerned about scoring so little. Given that I trail by a bingo, opponent could just keep scoring 30 or 40 points and suddenly I'd need 2 bingos. So do I have the option of scoring well? What about a play in column 8 onto the B? Well, the best I can see is Throb for 33 points, which is a good score, but retaining A, I. Let me check the remaining vowels. 17 out of 40. So close to half and half. What other options do I have? That's actually a big score. That's half a bingo. What about a play through this C? Well, possibly Trocchi for 26. Okay, I didn't mean to do that. I was just using this check facility. So Trocchi is good. And Trocchi isn't. So do I play Trocchi? What's the rack lead look like? It's only 22 points. So that's 11 fewer points than Throb. Just to have one fewer vowel, that doesn't really work, I don't think. And certainly the board is more bingo friendly after Throb. 9 minutes on my clock. What am I missing? It'd be quite nice to play underneath the Lianis and parallel, but I just don't think I'm going to get the points by playing there. What about a play one square longer? So something ending BI or BO or BA. Not seeing it. I'm going with Throb. I don't feel great about this, but I do like the score and I trail. Could have been worse. I trail by 36 and I've got scoring tiles and some balance. Again, I'm looking at row H to see if I've got a 6-letter play ending in A. That remains available. Good score for my opponent, 34 points. I'd quite like to leave the top left of the board alone because there are good bingo lanes there. Is there something in row H? Not that I can see. So where can I open the board up and play some eyes? Can't see anything down from the N, which would be ideal. What about a play in row M? Elm is good. So I could play Nim. Still one S and one blank to come. Only 15 points. And a pretty grim rack leave. But what alternatives do I have? Nain. 12 points. Which isn't too far off Nim. And it's a much better rack leave. What about sorting the rack leave out by playing in column 12? So I could get my C above the R. Not quite enough space for Criminy. Can't see a way of playing two eyes, so I think I'm going to go with Nain for 12. Well, there could be something here. It'll be pretty low probability if there is. Bingos with a Y tend to begin or end with a Y, and mainly end. I've got the icity ending. I don't think monicity is good. Great, opponent was distracted by that, hasn't scored hugely. And I thought I had comity, which I do have, but OT isn't good. I have meiotic. I'm still just one bingo behind, and there is a blank to come, and there are bingo lanes on the board. Opponent's player's taken out the bingo lanes at the bottom. But surely I have some 5-letter play ending M or Y. Five minutes on my clock. Not that I can see. What about getting my Y under JO? Not seeing anything there. Nothing down from the queue. Perky is good. Let's see what this scores. 35 points. I'm going to go with this. I am keeping duplicate I, but the rack has some balance. I like scoring a lot of points, or a reasonable number of points, with only a few tiles, given that I trail. And I am creating another distraction of sorts. I'm going with this. So, do I finally have something? Well, I have Comitia as a 7. Well, that doesn't play. The N of Nain is an available floater. The floaters in Throb, TH and R, look like the most likely. I trail by 50. Great, just 29 points for opponent, and bingo lanes remain available. 10 tiles to come, including the blank, although that could be sitting on opponent's rack. 4 minutes on my clock. Can't see anything ending with H or R, and T doesn't look great. Floating C? No, so what to do? Do I have a play across from the H that would create new floaters? And it would turn over tiles, increasing the chances of drawing a blank. And it would score quite well. Not seeing anything. Wow, this is a tricky position, and I've only got 3 minutes, which isn't great. Let me check the remaining vowels. 8 out of 17. So where can I score? And I'd quite like to play off just the M and the I, or M-I-O, to leave a decent rack leave. So I could play M-I, keeping a fairly balanced set, 18 points. Not too shabby. I'm going with this. Well, I draw an E, which I haven't seen for a while. And the rest of the, or all of the tiles are bingo-y. What I don't have, that I can see so far, is a bingo. Co attire, not good. And opponent must be thinking about blocking these lanes. Can't see anything through the C. 8 tiles in the bag and they're pretty bingo-y, so opponent may be holding out for a bingo for himself. Well, 3 tiles left, 22 points. I'm still a bingo behind, but I'm not in good shape. So what to do here? Where are the bingo lanes? Well, I think they've all now been extinguished, apart from pretty rare playthroughs. So 3 tiles left. I need to play off 2. And less than 2 minutes on my clock. Just wondering if there's a way of creating a new lane. And I guess I could play TO here, creating a new lane in column 2. And I guess plays beginning with N are still available. However, pretty unlikely. I'm going with this. I missed the blank. And I probably set my opponent up for a bingo in column 2. And I have. And the S was in the bag. So, game over. 1 minute on my clock. Kate for 27. Let me just pause. I do have a whole minute. Actor for 40. That's slightly better. Not seeing anything even better. And opponent goes out with cheese for 12. And the final score, 403 to me, 534 to my opponent, a winning margin of 131 points. So well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first. He played Iodize. Wow, Weasel available for 44. I didn't play that. I played U for 29. And the rack leave of AEHIL is not 15 better than E, which is the difference between the scores for the 2 moves. But AEHIL is a better rack leave, and it might be 8 or 9 points better than E. Opponent's rack has Guarana. Doesn't see it. Plays Hour. And now my rack. No bingo here. I play Bar for 28, and I like that. Line is 6 points better than I. And now opponent's rack. And it doesn't bingo, but this was probably a choice to get 54 points for Iodizers and to retain a good rack leave. My rack. Wow. I thought a bingo may pop up and it didn't. So I play Yi for 24 and I like that. Opponent has a fantastic bingo in hexagons. And I'm able to come back with lianes. Opponent's rack plays Virtue. And I have Unsaddle for 66, which gave me hope. I trailed by 40. Opponent plays Jig for 42. And this is where I played Perk for 36. I wasn't thrilled with it, but nothing obviously better. Opponent plays Crumb for 22, retaining QU. Phew, no missed bingo here. But I do have Tai Hoa in row H for 39 points. Yeah, and that would have been a better play than Throb for 33. Better score, better Racklave. Opponent plays Quell. D4, Acmic. Well, that blocks a floater. So I play Nain for 12, a much lower score, but I'm opening up bingo lanes. Opponent blocks with Offing. J14, Yo. Well, that was my play for 35, and I still like it. Opponent plays Volte, and now my hope is running out, but has not been extinguished. There are still 10 tiles, including a blank to come, and I trail by 80. No bingo here. I play Mai for 18, so Umiak, J15. Yeah, I think Umiak would have been a much better play. It would have scored a lot and increased my chances of drawing the blank, which was in the pool, because this is my opponent's rack. He plays Ponst, and now the board is really blocked. So I played 2 for 9, and I don't think a Topic would have been the right thing to do. There were only 3 tiles in the bag, so I couldn't have bingoed after it, but I suspect my chances are pretty close to 0 in any event. Opponent bingos, and I have Actor for 40. And finally, opponent could have got 14 for Offings, got 12 for Cheese. So, pretty brutal game, quite high scoring. Opponent got off to a flying start with Iodize and then cemented his lead with the fantastic hexagons for over 100 points. I had back-to-back bingos, which brought me back to within 1 bingo of my opponent, but that never materialized, and my opponent was able to score over 500 points and run out an easy victor. So well done once again to him. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.